TalkFCB and welcome back here to the channel, guys, to a Barcelona news roundup coming up for you today. We've got some news on Ansu Fati, on Carles Aleñá and on Frenkie de Jong. So without further ado, let's get right into it. And I want to start right here, first and foremost, with the big headline this morning coming from Mundo Deportivo here, talking about Ansu Fati with the headline, Ansu secured. And that's they're talking about a brand new contract which is going to arrive there with Ansu Fati very, very shortly. And of course, following his breakout season here, arriving to the first team, grabbing that opportunity, he's now with the Spanish under-21s. Ansu Fati here is going to get a new contract, and deservedly so. And Barcelona, of course, in that contract are going to offer Ansu an improved salary. That's something that of course is going to happen, but most importantly, that new contract there is going to be Ansu's path to the first team. In that contract, he will be a Barcelona first team player, and that's massive. That's absolutely huge there for Ansu Fati. And also in that contract, Barcelona are very, very keen there to increase his release clause, which currently stands right now at 100 million euros. Barcelona, though, want to double that figure. They want the new buyout to be 200 million euros, which for me there still isn't quite enough. You think here, yeah, we are talking about just a 16-year-old, but at the same time, with the enormous money in today's game, I'd like a bit more there than 200 million euros as the buyout, but of course, it's still good there to see that increased. But it was very interesting, actually, the MD there went on in that particular report, and they went on to talk there about how Ansu Fati really announced himself in that first team, and how he really caught the attention of not only Ernesto Valverde, but all of the first team, because in his very first training session there with the first team over the summer, Ansu Fati basically arrived and he scored 4 goals. It must have been a training game, something like that, but he scored 4 goals in that session, and MD basically say that from that moment on, Valverde thought, yeah, I've got to include him, I've got to keep this guy in the first team picture, because you can't turn that kind of talent away. You can't turn away somebody who arrives like that. He believes that he belongs there, he's got that confidence, and Ansu Fati right now, he's growing all the time. He's growing in confidence, he's growing in stature. But now I do want to move on to somebody whose season has been the complete opposite of Ansu Fati's, because right now we have to talk about Carles Aleñá, because it has been an absolute nightmare start to the new campaign for him. A man, of course, who last season really broke into the first team picture. He provided something completely different there from a midfield role, getting into attacking situations. He got himself a few goals too, and he really, really impressed there in his breakout season. And I think we all expect, really, and we all hoped this season he'd continue that progression. He'd get a certain amount of minutes, he'd get opportunities to impress Valverde, but no, for whatever reason, Alena has not been given a chance, not a single chance in this team of late. He started the very first game of the season against Athletic, he started in that game, he didn't do terribly, he didn't do something absolutely awful in that game, but he was subbed off at half-time for Rakitic, and since that game, we haven't seen him for a single minute. Not for a single minute has Carles Aleñá been seen since that first game of the season, and often as well, he's not even in the squad. He's not even been included on the bench on many, many occasions. And that, for me, seems extremely harsh and almost uncalled for. You're kind of searching here for the reason why Aleñá has simply been cast aside. And look, I understand right now the midfield is overcrowded. I do realise that we have so many midfield players. We've got too many. We should have shifted more in the summer. We should have tried even harder to do that. And of course, there's only a certain amount of minutes that can go round to all of those players. But at the same time, why are we sacrificing Carles Aleñá? Why are we sacrificing here a La Masia player, somebody with still a high ceiling, maybe not as high as somebody like Ricky Puig, but still somebody with a lot of talent that deserves an opportunity. As we saw last season, he can perform at the highest level. So why there are we sacrificing Carles Aleñá? Even somebody there like Rakitic, who the club are actively trying to force out. The club right now are really angry with Rakitic. They want him gone. They wanted him gone in the summer, but even he has played 6 games. That's 6 times the amount of football that Carles Aleñá has this season, and I just don't really understand it. I don't really understand what's happened with him. And according to MD and Marca today, they say that in January, Carles Aleñá could be on his way out. And worryingly, in both of those reports, they're not really stating whether it's going to be a loan deal or if it's going to be permanent. Carles Aleñá here could be leaving the club, and he could be leaving for good, possibly. And that's not good. That's really, really disappointing. And I'm just hoping here that we can find some sort of solution, a positive solution here that sees Aleñá realise that potential, get some opportunities, whether it's at Barcelona, whether it's loaning him out for some football for the rest of the season, or whether it's making space for him in that January transfer window. Let's just hope something good can come out of this. And just like I did mention there, guys, another guy that could be on his way out in January is Ivan Rakitic, because just like those articles there on Carles Aleñá, the same sort of articles have been posted about Rakitic, with AS and MD saying that Barcelona wants to offload him in January. They did want to offload him, of course, though, in the summer, so make of that what you will. Rakitic has to be the one to say, yep, I want to leave. If he doesn't do that once again, they can't force it. He's under contract, so it's up to Rakitic whether now, with his reduced game time, if he does decide to leave, Inter and Man United do continue to be linked, and Barcelona feel this is the last chance to get some decent money for him. If it continues to go on, if he stays beyond January, and we still don't seem to include him, his value is going to drop and drop and drop. He's the other side of 30 now. Things aren't looking that great for Rakitic in terms of market value. This would be the last chance. But will Rakitic move on? Will he accept that move? We're going to have to wait and see. But Barca, they are adamant. They want him out. One midfielder, though, who is certainly not going anywhere, it's Frenkie de Jong. And I just want to talk here about a report that came out today from AS, who say that Barcelona, since they've started introducing new technology into their training sessions and into their daily routines, they've been monitoring everything about the Barcelona first team. For instance, I'd imagine there that everything they do is now tracked, from training sessions to recovery sessions, even gym sessions, warm-ups, warm-downs. Every single thing they do will be monitored, it will be tracked, and it'll be analysed. And they say that having taken all of that data into account, no player in that Barcelona first team has more impressive stats than Frenkie de Jong. He is at the very, very top, the top of his game, the top of everybody's game. He is the man to beat right now. And AS go on to say that he's the toughest player, he covers the most ground, he wins the most balls, his body recovers quickest, and he also has the most aerobic capacity. All in all there, Frenkie de Jong is outstanding. Frenkie de Jong is the man. And I really do mean that, because often in football, especially with midfield players in Frenkie de Jong's type of role, you think of them as either one of the two. You think either of those players as very technical players, somebody there with good characteristics on the ball, but often then you think of those players without the ball as really suffering. Somebody who's a technical player may not have good physical attributes, and vice versa. If somebody there has incredible physical attributes, you don't really imagine them having that good quality technical ability. But that's the thing about de Jong. That's the incredible thing about him. He genuinely has it all. He's unbelievable with the ball at his feet. He has incredible technical ability, but he's brilliant. Physically, he is fantastic because he can do it all. He's outstanding without the ball. He can run. He's quick. He's strong. He can recover balls. He can defend. He can do all the things without the ball in the physical aspect, but he can also do it on the ball. And that's so exciting. And you want to know the best bit about all this? This man right here, Frenkie de Jong, 22 years old. 22 years old. And if that doesn't make you excited, this player here with that huge ceiling, with so much opportunity to grow, and already having so much talent, oh, I'm excited. The future with this man in our midfield, alongside Arthur, of course. Oh, it's exciting. But I want to talk here, finally, about Samuel Umtiti and another injury update on his current condition. We spoke in the last news roundup, we said basically that Samuel Umtiti is very close now to returning, and he should be back among the squad, ready for El Clasico. But in the past few days, there's been even more optimism in Barcelona about Samuel Umtiti, and many papers right now believe that it's going to be available for the very next game. Against Eibar at Iparrua, Umtiti should be back with the squad to feature in that game. But I want to ask you guys here a very important question. If Umtiti is back with the squad, if he's back and he's fit and he's ready to go and he can play in that game against Eibar, should we play him alongside the man who's returning from suspension, Clement Longley? What that would mean there is that Umtiti and Longley start there at the centre of defence, but of course you take out Todibo, and that for me would seem extremely harsh given the way that he played, of course, in the last game there at home against Sevilla. And I think it would be really, really harsh there to take him out that team. He's had his chance, he's had an opportunity, and then taken it away from him just because Umtiti is returning, just because Longley is returning. What centre-back duo would you play against Eibar if Umtiti is fit, if Longley is back there, and if Todibo is ready to go? Who would you play at the centre of defence? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I do want to know your thoughts on that, guys, because it's a very, very difficult one to call. We're not used to having Umtiti fit. That's a very, very good thing, of course. But throwing him straight back in there alongside Longley, let me know your thoughts on that. And of course, let me know your thoughts on everything we have discussed in today's video, from Ansu Fati to Carles Aleñá to Frenkie de Jong. Let me know in the comments down below. And of course, I'll see you soon with some more videos. Thank you as always for your support. Thank you guys for your patience. I'm having a bit of a break and a bit of a rest over this international break. But of course, when Barcelona returns, I'll be back. You make no mistake about that. I'll see you soon, guys. But until next time, as always, Visca El Barça.